Okay.
What?
Tell me when to start.
Wait, hold on.
Hi, welcome back. Okay, so I've told you the meaty story. Now we're going to get into the meat of the model. This is the stuff that's going to change your life. In any therapeutic model, you need to explain the basic tenets. So this video is about telling you the sort of basics that will then lead into the following steps. In this video, I want to explain how the subconscious is formed. I want to explain this idea of unconditional love and that it really doesn't exist in the way you think. Explain how needs are developed. And then I'm going to go into the mother, father, child triad, which will be the crux of the model. And we'll refer to this over and over and over again. In the future, I'll be using this icon as the descriptor for the mother, father, child triad. So in most spiritual books that you read, whether it's metaphysics, whether it's yoga, you talk about the mind. The mind is, in my opinion, the tool that most enslaves you or most liberates you. But how is the mind developed? In metaphysics, we talk about all is mind. In yoga, we talk about controlling the mind. It's why we do yoga and meditate. But most people can't really tell you where the mind is located. The mind is actually everywhere. It's not located in the brain. So how do we take this intangible and sort of control it without even understanding where its origins are? So I want to tell you about how the mind, especially the subconscious aspect, which is the one that is ruling your behaviors, your destructive behaviors most importantly, and how that came to be. So mom and dad got together. They had way too many drinks at the bar, and here you are formed. This is you. This is mom and her egg, and this is dad and his sperm. The beautiful thing about this model is every single person can understand and agree that every child has a mother and a father. No matter who you voted for, no matter what you believe in, whether you're a test tube baby, whether you're adopted, you had a biological mother and father. So it's a nice way to start the model because it's something that we can all sort of buy into. Now, what happened that night at the bar? Mom and dad got together. Mom brings her baggage to the bed, dad brings his baggage, and you are born from all of this baggage. The good stuff as well as the bad stuff. In a future video, we're going to talk about the buckets. And this is sort of how we itemize the good and the bad of mom and dad. And that will be the crux of what becomes your subconscious and what we will call the shadow. So you are conceived. And this is very, very important. This happens at conception, not at birth. Your mind is created the moment that your parents conceive you, before you have toes, fingers, a heartbeat, a pulse. So at the moment of conception, you now, that thought, that union of egg and sperm has happened, has been created. How is it that your subconscious and this mind is formed? It's from all of the things that your parents like about themselves and dislike about themselves. They've got challenges and obstacles, that's created in your mind. They have passions and they have things that they enjoy about themselves, that's also in you. So just like you're the genetic makeup of your parents, your eyes, your hair color, you are also the inheritance of their thought patterns that they have about themselves. This is how the mind starts. This now becomes the framework that you will fight against for the rest of your life. This is what I will term the child. What the hope of the model is, and this is what will change your life, is when you show up in your life as the adult. The process from child to adult is the teenager. So we're going to be using these regular, normal words that we associate with physiological development. We're now going to use for mental, emotional, and spiritual development as well. So let me kind of debunk this myth of unconditional love. Concept of unconditional love. Fortunately or unfortunately, most of us have been fed the bullshit that our parents love us unconditionally. This is not true. It is impossible. Unconditional love is love without conditions. I bet each and every one of you have been told if you get good grades, if you're a good or bad boy or girl, XYZ, you will get the cookie, you will get the reward. The reward that every single human being wants is love. Your parents parents could not love you unconditionally. Not because they don't want to. Not that they don't have glimpses of unconditional love towards you. But overall, no human being can love you unconditionally because we do not love ourselves unconditionally. This is sort of the breakdown in the system, okay? We have been taught conditional love. And therefore, when we're in relationship, when we're at work, when we have our relationship with our friends and our colleagues, what we're seeking is a dysfunctional love pattern. This is what I will later explain as emotion versus feeling and what I call the brick wall that we keep beating our head against. Okay? So what I want you to know just for this moment is unconditional love does not exist from your parents to you. The only place that you can get unconditional love is from yourself to yourself or your version of God, creator, universe to you. That is the purpose of the model, where you stop seeking unconditional love elsewhere, external, outside of you, and you learn to rely on yourself and love yourself. This in turn will create healthy, loving relationships that will appear very unconditional with your children, with your spouses as a result. But it has to start from the inner space. The third tenet of the model, needs. When your parents conceived you, your parents, and this does not matter if your parents were planning, as in an arranged birth, or the night at the bar, where you were in an accident, as most of us are. Your parents have needs that were never met, because they too were raised by parents that couldn't love them unconditionally. The need that your parents had at the moment of your conception becomes your purpose in life. It's as if they take this template, this sort of Broadway script, and hand it to you. And say, Francis, this is what you're going to live by for the rest of your life. Unless you do the steps, as I outline in this model, and then you can change. You can change your script. You can rewrite your story. But most of us are living automatically by the script. I'm going to show you to recognize the script and rewrite it. So the concept of needs. Every single one of us, the reason that we have dysfunctional relationships, the reason that we have problems is because we have not understood how to meet our own needs. There's a therapy model called Family Constellations. It's by Bert Hellinger. And he says, this is your mother, this is your father, and this is the child. If the child learns to, for instance, meet the needs of the father, he fails to meet his own needs. He leaves his own space. So basically, you're over here doing what your parents need. Who is meeting your needs? Nobody. So you go out into your life and you have boyfriends and girlfriends and children and jobs, and you're unfulfilled and unfulfilled and unfulfilled. The purpose of this model is to put you back in your own space. When you learn to fulfill your own needs, then you can be a valuable contributor to a relationship, a marriage, a job, etc. And that's the purpose, so that you can live whole and then give that back to the other. So what I want you to know about the needs. Your parents had a need when they conceived you. And your job, your sort of unspoken job, was that you are to meet your parents' needs. And I am going to show you how you go through life proving your parents right, that that is the only purpose you have on earth, unless you choose otherwise. The model itself is considered the mother, father, child triad. In our next video, we're going to break this down into the bad buckets, and we're going to use this symbol. Mother, father, child. I did a reading, and my guides explained to me that instead of mother, father, child, which I'm going to call the child, what we're doing is literally a chemistry equation. The triangle is a symbol for delta, which is transformation. We're going to transform you and your attitudes and your behaviors and your subconscious into an adult, which is Mother Earth, if you think of the Divine Mother, Father Sky, if you think of the Divine Father, and Divine Child, which is really what you're here to do. Fulfill your life's purpose, not your parents' needs and what they say that your purpose is. So this equation from child to adult, we will discuss the steps, which are the teenager. And this is the setup of the model. One more thing before I go. The child is victim. The child does not hold itself accountable, and the child is automatically sort of put into a situation. Whereas the adult can stop and make a choice. This is the key concept of this model, which I will reiterate over and over and over. So just to summarize, your subconscious, your mind, was developed at conception. Your mind is basically your parents' baggage, good and bad, that create you, that now you think you must carry on, and that's your duty. Your parents could not love you unconditionally, only you can. You are here to meet your parents' needs, or so you think, but I want to teach you how to meet your own needs. And I want you to transform your child into your adult so you can live a fulfilled life. Thank you, and join me for the next video on the good and bad buckets.